Hello and welcome to Breast Friends Cancer Support Network. My name is Michelle Beck. I'm a two-time, almost 10-year survivor of breast cancer. I am the programs assistant at Breast Friends of Oregon. And when I have time, you can find me on social media or my blog at I Never Liked Pink. And I'm so excited today because I have my people here with me. So I have three out of my four coworkers at Breast Friends here. I have Allison Hancock. Sorry, I'm talking so fast because I'm so excited. So Allison Hancock, she is our executive director. She is here and she's been with Breast Friends for the longest, which is why she has the hard job. Alyssa Beyer, she is our patient support coordinator, and Liz Brown, she does our social media and events coordinator, and everybody rocks it. We just have so much fun. We are missing one coworker, Amy Berg. She is our programs coordinator, and I'm going to do a separate episode with her coming up soon to talk about her love of art and how that really can incorporate into healing. So today we're kind of just going to lighten it up a little bit, and we are going to talk about some common breast cancer fact versus fiction. There's a lot of information out there about what is true and what is not, and some preconceived notions. And I kind of just want to talk about that to say, hey, these are some facts. And to start off with, I am not a medical professional. So I've done research and I've actually found sources that, you can go back to for these things. And what I quoted, or what I'm going back to, is dosomething.org, breastcancer.org, Aetna.com, and the National Library of Medicine. It has a really long URL. And I was literally just searching breast cancer fact and fiction. So that's where I've come up with all of these questions. So Allison, thank you for being here today. Can you please tell us a little bit about yourself and how and what you do at Breast Friends?
Thank you, Michelle. I'm so excited to be a part of your show this afternoon. And I'm Allison Hancock. I'm the executive director of Breast Friends, and I am a 17-and-a-half-year breast cancer survivor. I was diagnosed in 2004 with stage 2B breast cancer. I had a lumpectomy, chemo, radiation, and a 5-year maintenance drug. And I came to Breast Friends from Connecticut. We moved here in 2012, and Breast Friends is 5 minutes from my house. I kept driving by, stopped in one day, and never left. I started volunteering at Breast Friends, met one of the co-founders, and just fell in love with the organization. I really wanted to be able to give back to women and support them through their cancer journey. I didn't have that support. I had great support from family and friends, but the piece that was missing was being able to talk to another woman, to talk about her journey, and to learn some tips and tools. And so I found Breast Friends, volunteered for a couple of years, and became their event coordinator. And then the co-founders retired, and we're looking for someone to take over the organization. They asked me, and I said yes, and have loved the opportunity to be able to lead this organization. So I've been in my role since 2018.
Well, thank you for doing this and being here. And you're the one who keeps our ship afloat. So thank you. And for those of you listening out there, I just want to really highlight 17 years. So, many of you who are newly diagnosed are very nervous, but Allison is 17 years out and thriving and just has the heart to give back, as we all do. So thank you. And if you want to hear more about Allison's journey, she actually did a podcast called this podcast, I believe in 2018, with Becky Olson, from volunteer to executive director. So you can find that as well. So Alyssa, tell us why you found Breast Friends and about your cancer, please.
Thanks, Michelle. I'm excited to be here as well. So I was diagnosed with breast cancer in October of 2017. I was 37 years old, and I guess to say it came out of left field would be a total understatement. My diagnosis was triple negative breast cancer. So I went through the typical protocol, chemo, surgery, and then radiation. And I just knew through all of it that I was going to want to turn around and help the women that were coming behind me, specifically women diagnosed young. And so when I completed treatment and felt like I had a little bit of, finally had some room in my brain for other things, I found Breast Friends and came in to volunteer, and then was shortly hired on as staff. And now my role is patient support coordinator. So I get to talk with women who are new to Breast Friends, whether they're newly diagnosed or maybe like me, they're post-treatment and they're looking for that support. Like Allison mentioned, a lot of us have great family and friends that help us, but when it comes to making that connection with another woman who gets it, that's really where we shine, and really the heart of what we do.
I love that. Thank you. And Alyssa mentioned being triple negative. I believe it was in 2019. You did a podcast with Becky episode as well, talking about triple negative. So you listeners, you can go search that as well. So thank you for being here. And last but not least is my coworker, Liz. And she ended up at Breast Friends a little bit of a different way. So Liz, welcome. Can you tell us about yourself and how you found us?
Well, hello there. My name is Liz Brown. I'm the events coordinator at Breast Friends. I am the only non-survivor on staff. I lost my mom to triple negative breast cancer in 2008. It took me about 10 years to decide that I was in a place to give back. And I started off volunteering, just like the rest of us here. And then I think that was the end of 2018. I volunteered until about a year and a half ago, I guess, and then came on as social media coordinator. And now I do social media and events. So I run things like the golf tournament, our Sunday Fun Day in August. Anything that brings in money is what I do.
Well, and Liz, you came on board and immediately started killing it with the social media. And I love this because you accredited your skill at it with having two high school age daughters at that point, because you had to keep up with what they were doing. So all of us were like, I don't know, we don't know. But while we're on it, Liz, tell us where everybody can find us on social media.
So we are on Instagram as Breast Friends PDX. We are on Facebook as Breast Friends of Oregon. We are also on LinkedIn as Breast Friends. Remind me, Michelle, what?
It's just Breast Friends.
It's just Breast Friends. So
yep.
On every platform, we're a little bit different, but we're easy to find. We're the Breast Friends located in Tigard, Oregon. All of our social media platforms are up to date with all of our latest activities, workshops. I should say workshops that are available to the general public that we don't have information that we want to keep private, for the safety of our patients, and anything that's going on at Breast Friends.
Perfect. And also, listeners, you can find out all of this information on our website, which is breastfriends.org, and check out the calendar. There's a button right on the top right of our website, and you can go and see all the things that are available to you for the support and community and education that you need. So let's kind of dig into what we're here to talk about today, which are kind of some fact and fiction about breast cancer. So Liz, I'm going to direct this first question to you. It's about family history, which I know is something that we all are like, well, I had a family history, but I'm not genetic. So is it true if you don't have a history of breast cancer that you don't have to worry about anything?
No, that is not true. I guess that should have been part of my introduction. Is my mom was the first to be diagnosed with any sort of cancer, really on both sides of my family. And she had triple negative. Soon to follow, about 5 years later, my aunt was diagnosed with ovarian cancer, and they both passed from their cancers. We don't have any family history. Their mom lived to be 101 years old.
Oh.
I have gone through genetic testing, and I do have an ATM variant that they are still studying. But technically, we don't have anything that would make us any more likely to get any kind of cancer than anyone else. Now that leaves me at a higher risk for breast cancer now. But my mom was the first. She used to joke around that we didn't have to worry about our health because we had such good genetics.
Well, it's funny because that kind of leads me to the answer that only 5 to 10% of breast cancers are believed to be hereditary, which it seems like such a really low statistic. Now, Alyssa or Allison, did either of you have any kind of a family history?
No.
Yeah.
Zero.
My mom was diagnosed with breast cancer right after I got married in 1994, and she was the first one in her family. And I wish I had known more about what she was diagnosed with. She has since passed away. She passed away from another cancer. But I recall that it was like very early stage, maybe even stage 0, but there was something suspicious there. And so she did have 30 rounds of radiation. But she was the first one, in our family. She didn't do any genetic testing. And so I don't know if my cancer was because of a genetic mutation or not.
Okay. Well, and that really leads us to the knowledge that since so few are hereditarily passed down, that it really leads us to look at our environment and our lifestyle, what we are surrounding our bodies with and what we're putting in our bodies and the amount of movement. So obviously being fit is helpful, but Alyssa, I'm going to give this next one to you. So if you are maintaining a healthy weight, exercise regularly, you limit your alcohol, do you have to worry about cancer still?
Yeah. Unfortunately, I think you do. I mean, I think all of those things you mentioned, that taking care of yourself is important for so many things. I mean, beyond cancer, beyond physical, your mental health, your overall well-being. But I know plenty of women even within our breast friends community that had everything all dialed in nutritionally and physically, and they still got breast cancer. So
yeah, marathon runners, Olympic athletes. There's one woman, Keegan Randall. She's an Olympic gold medalist cross country skier, diagnosed early 30s with breast cancer. And it's just, so you always need to be on the lookout for anything suspicious in your body. And this is something that I didn't put down as one of my questions, but Allison, how often should we be doing self-checks?
We should do self-checks monthly, every month, especially no matter what age you are, you need to have that baseline, and you need to become familiar with your body. If there's anything that comes up that doesn't feel right, please go to your medical provider and get it checked out. The sooner that you discover that you may have cancer, the better treatment options.
Definitely. And a lot of organizations, and we do this as well, put reminders on social media to feel it on the 1st. And that's a really easy way to remember, okay, it's the 1st of the month, and just do it when you're in the shower. Make sure, feel around, see if there's anything different, anything feels lumpy, it hurts, just different things. And take the time to go see any of your practitioners, because they can hopefully help direct you to the right place. Now, so Allison, another question for you, and this came about, I wasn't really familiar with it until I was diagnosed, but how about using underarm deodorant or antiperspirant? Does that cause breast cancer? What do you think?
I would say no.
So Alyssa, you chuckled. What do you think about that one?
Oh, I don't think it does.
So Liz,
but I don't know.
Well,
Liz,
I just happened to have, I read something about this, that everyone thinks that it's the aluminum that contributes to breast cancer, but you get such a minute amount of aluminum from your deodorant that most studies find that does not contribute towards breast cancer.
Yes, you guys are all correct. Even though it's really, I guess, let's say a medical urban myth that you should stop using antiperspirant while after you've been diagnosed with breast cancer. And I did it. I changed to like a rock deodorant and then this and that and all these things that don't work. And, I still use safer deodorant without aluminum and parabens and all the things, which is important. But there is no evidence that aluminum in your antiperspirant or deodorant was directly causing breast cancer. So I thought that was really interesting because it's something that we've definitely talked about. Like when someone is diagnosed, like, oh, did you change your deodorant? And I'm like, well, yes, but now I smell.
Right. With all the working out that we're doing to stay healthy, we have to use deodorant. It works.
Perfect. Okay. So this leads to another thing, which is kind of a funny. So many media reports in like the early 2010s or so, and then there was a huge media uproar about it in 2013 because of Dr. Oz, that many women, and I've done this myself, carrying your cell phone in your bra.
Oh.
What do you guys think about that? You have any thoughts about that? If that can cause breast cancer? Alyssa.
Probably not, but I'm not doing it.
No, I don't think so. I mean,
yeah,
I would say no.
Yes. And it's funny because, like I said, that Dr. Oz did this whole big presentation on it and don't do this and this and that. And there is no evidence that putting a cell phone in your bra for any length of time will cause breast cancer. It actually is more common to cause brain tumors because of the radio frequency radiation. So that's okay. Keep it as, yes, we hold our phones up to our ears and it is what it is, but it is more likely to cause that than to cause breast cancer.
So I didn't know that.
Yeah, I know. I learned a lot when I was researching for this show. So listeners, we are going to take a quick break. So please stay with us. If you would like to donate to help Breast Friends continue on its mission to ensure that women do not go through cancer alone, you can text BF Radio to 41444 or go on our website, breastfriends.org, and click on that button. You can also check out patient programs on our website to see what Breast Friends can do for you. Stay with us. We'll be back in a minute. Thanks for staying with us. I'm Michelle Beck, and I have my amazing coworkers here from Breast Friends. I have Allison Hancock, our executive director, Alyssa Beyer, patient support coordinator, and Liz Brown, who is our events coordinator and also rocks all of our social media. So we are kind of talking about some common breast cancer questions, whether they're true or false. And, a lot of information is out there. So next, I want to talk about what we put into our bodies. So Alyssa, I'm going to start you off with this one. So can too much sugar lead to breast cancer?
No.
That's just a hard no. So
no, I mean, I cannot cite anything, but I have read many articles and studies that have shown that, sugar does not cause or feed cancer cells. From my understanding, and I might be wrong, but sugar goes through our whole body and it feeds all of our cells, but it doesn't target the cancer. It's not going to make it grow faster or anything like that. And I know when I was going through treatment, my oncologist never restricted anything I could eat, so I would think if that were true, she would have said,
cut down on the cupcakes.
Diet. Yeah. So
well, you are generally correct. So there is no direct evidence that sugar causes breast cancer. It is a very common myth that sugar feeds the cancer and will speed up its growth, but actually all cells, whether they're cancerous cells or healthy cells, use sugar in the blood, where it's called glucose, as fuel. And while it's true that the cancer cells consume sugar more quickly than normal cells do, there isn't any evidence that excess sugar consumption causes cancer. However, there is a caveat to that for those people who have been previously diagnosed with estrogen positive cancers, which is myself. The more over the ideal BMI that you are, which the BMI is, I think, always a little nutty, but the more excess weight you have on your bodies, those fat cells actually can produce estrogen in your body, which I actually didn't know about until a recent podcast episode that I did with TJ Hills talking about estrogen in our bodies. So that was the first time that someone really explained to me that excess weight can lead to recurrence because it actually can produce more estrogen in your body. So I thought that was very interesting.
And is that specifically for women who had estrogen positive breast cancer, or that
yes,
like across
specifically
the board?
for estrogen positive, because those of us are trying to cut down the amount of estrogen in our bodies or cut it off completely. The fewer fat cells you have to produce estrogen, the less estrogen that will be in your body. So I thought that was pretty interesting. What about Allison? So you are probably the most non-drinker in our group.
Well, I can have a few glasses of wine.
She's always going to the wineries.
Oh,
that's true. Yeah, we definitely need
the rest of us are drunks, apparently, if Alex is a non-drinker.
I'm not saying we're drunks, but that is true. So, okay, well, Allison, I'm still sending this question to you. Can alcohol cause breast cancer? Or I guess overconsumption of alcohol?
I'm going to say no. I think, we do need to be mindful of, what we put in our bodies, whether it be alcohol, sugar, all those things, fat, those extra fatty foods, we all need to be more mindful of what we put in our body. But, having a glass of wine, every now and then is not going to cause cancer.
So interestingly enough, alcohol is actually labeled as a carcinogen. It increases the risk for many cancers, including cancer of the breast, liver, colon, rectum, esophagus, head, and neck. So, Liz, do you think that any type of any type of alcohol is better than another if you're going to be drinking?
I don't know. I want to say it's better to drink red wine, but I have no idea. I mean, I know our bodies treat alcohol like a toxin, so I don't know.
So actually, it doesn't matter what type of alcohol you are drinking. For these purposes of increasing cancer risk, they're all the same, whether it's beer, wine, or hard alcohol. There is the knowledge out there that red wine is for heart health, but it's really interesting how it can help your heart health, but it can also raise your cancer risk. So the best advice out there is know the information, and if you are going to drink in moderation, knowing that you're comfortable with the information that is out there. So that's the best answer I can give for that one.
Yeah, okay. I've heard people say, like, if you're going to have a glass of wine or, a sugary treat or something, like, if you can have that and enjoy it, that is great. But if you're going to feel guilt and stress over it, like, that's going to be worse for your body than just enjoying a glass of wine. That's sort of how I look at it.
Yeah, definitely. The hormone cancer dietitian, Kathy Lehman, she's been on here a few times. She talks about that. And really, it's not about stopping the things you put into your body. It's all about knowing the risks and moderation. And if you feel like you messed up today, well, tomorrow's a new day. Don't beat yourself up. Enjoy what you're going to enjoy, and then move forward and try to continue your healthy practices.
Yeah.
So, okay, Alyssa, next. I don't know how you found your cancer, but in your knowledge, do you think annual mammograms guarantee that breast cancer will be found early?
No. I mean, it's a tool. It's definitely a tool. And I think that women should be getting annual mammograms. But no, I mean, first of all, I was not even 40 when I was diagnosed. I was not receiving mammograms. You know, I felt my lump in the shower. So that's why it's important to know your body starting at as young as
you have breasts, actually.
Right.
Mhm.
I mean, just knowing what is normal. I know that mammograms don't always find everything. So, but
You are 100% correct.
but I still want women to go get their mammograms. So I'm
Yes.
trying to be careful with what I say.
No, that's okay. Mammograms are the best early detection tool that we have. It doesn't always find your breast cancer at an early stage. It found mine. I've been diagnosed twice, both with stage 1 in each breast. And I would not have found it but for my mammograms, because they were both very small and very close to my chest wall. So for me, I definitely say mammography saved my life, because I had dense breast. I was large breasted at the time. And if I hadn't done them, it would have been a very much later stage and a much different outcome for me. So definitely keep doing it. And like you said, know your body, feel your body. So you have the wherewithal to know, okay, this is something different. Let's go get a mammogram or an ultrasound. So, and always important to be your own advocate.
And
Yes.
for my breast cancer, I had gone in for my yearly exam, and my doctor had felt something. And so she told me to go schedule a mammogram and ultrasound. I had both of those, and it did not pick up on either of those. It didn't pick up on the mammogram or the ultrasound. And I was diagnosed at age 40, and it could have been hormonal. I could have just had a cyst there. So we actually waited 3 months to see if it was hormonal. It was still there. And then that's when I had it taken out. I had a lumpectomy, and that's when it came back as cancerous. But it all shocked the doctors, because they felt like that it should have shown up on those tests, and it didn't. So even though it may not show up on a test, please, go get your yearly mammograms if you're 40 or over, or if you have something suspicious, please, be your own advocate for that.
100%. Okay, so we're going to move on. Liz, I'm going to put this one to you. So it's always heard that, oh, if it's something that hurts, it's not cancer. Cancer doesn't hurt. Is it true that if a lump is painful or moves freely around your skin, it's not cancer and you don't need to worry about it?
No, that's not true. If you have anything at all, you should worry about it and have it checked.
Right, because we don't know. We are not doctors. We don't have mammograms and ultrasounds and biopsies in our bathroom. So it is super important to that's one that really is, we really have to debunk, because everyone's like, oh, cancer doesn't hurt, or breast cancer doesn't hurt. Well, actually it can in indefinite some forms there, especially when it's different. There are different types of breast cancer that do hurt, or if they're more around the nipple or different things. And so if you have a lump that is a lump in any way, super important to go get that checked out. So next we're going to talk about early stage breast cancer, which I was diagnosed stage 1 both times. So is it rare, Allison, for early stage breast cancer to return?
No, it's not.
Trying to stump you on that one. So what they say is there's always a chance for recurrence. Low risk, which is not aggressive early stage, hormone positive breast cancer has a 15 to 20% chance of recurrence, generally in the 2 to 5 year mark, or in that time frame. But even though many consider 5 years the all clear, that if it didn't come back in that time frame, it's not going to come back, that is not true. So there's always a chance that it come back. So we unfortunately can't ever stop being vigilant and paying attention to what is going on in our bodies. So Alyssa, I'm going to direct this next one to you because there's a lot of talk about there on social media and different things about the additional things that we put in our body. Do you know of any magic supplement, vitamin, or herb that is going to cure your cancer?
No, I do not.
I mean, wouldn't that be nice? That would just be a lot simpler than everything that we go through.
Yes. No, I mean, I think supplements have a role in, prevention and, helping with side effects and things like that. But no, I believe that you need to go through the standard of care, I guess is what you call it, for your particular cancer. And fortunately, I mean, they're learning now that some breast cancers don't, you don't have to have chemo. I know they're coming up with new tests all the time to check, will your tumor, is it beneficial to stay on your, AIs?
I am actually literally waiting for results on that test right now as we speak.
So,
yeah,
they don't want, I try to always tell newly diagnosed women, they don't want our oncologists, at least this is my belief, they don't want us to suffer more than we have to, but you have to weigh the pros and cons of the treatment. And I think they're always looking for ways to try to make it easier,
definitely,
or better.
And I think that's why I think personally, it's always good to also speak with an integrative medical practitioner, because they have different ways that they can supplement your cancer treatments, whether it is vitamin C injections, or let's look at these supplements that I need now post-cancer. I need a lot of magnesium, and we need vitamin D because we live in the land of no sun. And there's certain things that definitely are more helpful, but there has not been any direct evidence to show that, this supplement or this herb is really going to take it away. So trust our doctors, but always ask questions, because you need to know all the information about what is going in your body, whether it's chemo or radiation or your supplements. So, okay, the next one, and we are going to talk really quick about artificial sweeteners. This has been a challenging one for me because I love Diet Coke. And we've been talking about aspartame, and they also mention one called Exsulfame K. Liz, do you know, I'm sure you've heard about these things. How do you feel about their increasing cancer risk?
Well, I hate artificial sweeteners, but I'm not sure actually if they cause cancer or not. I do believe myself that your body doesn't know what to do with those, and they deposit. Sometimes your body doesn't know how to get rid of the artificial sweetener, so it will kind of hold on to it, and that can cause health problems. But cancer, I don't know.
Actually, there are studies out there showing that increased consumption of these two particular, the aspartame and the Exsulfame K, definitely have an increased risk of obesity-related cancers, which includes breast, colorectal, stomach, liver, mouth, head, neck, esophageal, ovarian, endometrial, and prostate. So literally, once I read that fact, I was like, oh God, I really have to stop. I've cut down a lot, but if you are going to use artificial sweeteners, stevia and truvia are the ones.
Those aren't artificial.
Thank you.
And Truvia is a brand name for stevia.
Okay, well, perfect. See, one of my websites called that out separately. So go for stevia if you're looking for any other sweetener that is not sugar or the bad aspartame. So we are going to take another quick break. Listeners, stay with us. If you would like to be my guest or send me your warrior story, please email me at michellebeck@breastfriends.org. Stay with us. We'll be back. Thanks for staying with us. I'm Michelle Beck, and I have my Breast Friends staff here. Allison Hancock, our executive director, Alyssa Beyer, patient support coordinator, and Liz Brown, events and social media coordinator. So we have been talking about common misconceptions and questions about breast cancer, and just wanted to share them all with you today. So my next question, Allison, I'm directing this one to you. And I do not think you've ever participated in these activities, but it's good to think about. Can you or anyone else get Botox or dermal fillers after cancer treatment?
Yes, you can. I don't see, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I know you can use Botox for headaches, for migraines. And so I don't see, any reason why you couldn't use Botox.
You are correct. So there is no data that anything having to do with these injections can cause cancer. However, you should wait until treatment is completed. So I just thought that was a funny one. I was like, huh, okay. That it was on like a very short list of questions. I was like, okay. So I think I'm the only one on this call who actually has breast implants, because I had a full mastectomy with reconstruction. But Alyssa, what do you think about, can implants increase the risk of further cancers?
I guess I don't know the answer to that. Well, I don't know.
So there's been interesting studies lately, not so much increasing the risk of cancer, but there's a couple different things that you should look at if you are going to be getting additional scans later on. If you have concerns, your implants can get in the way of your scans, which, so they just really have to be vigilant in knowing what they're looking at or looking through or looking beyond. I recently myself had an MRI of my breast because I had some concerns, and there was no problem. So like, that was great. No problems with the implants in the way or any concerns, which is, happy day. But there is something that has come up in the few years, breast implant syndrome, that not everyone's bodies accept the breast implants. So if you are someone out there who has gone through this and you have breast implants, you need to be really mindful of any potential side effects in terms of fatigue, not feeling well, headache, just overall, or any different rippling in the breast area. Just really be mindful of what is going on. And again, just bring those issues to your doctor and say, hey, I think something's not right. So always good to keep that in mind. And with breast implants, you have to have them replaced every 10 to 15 years. And I was asking my doctor, she goes, well, they're kind of like tires. You get only so much use out of them and you have to get new ones. I was like, huh, okay then. So I thought that was really interesting.
I think Liz had a comment.
Oh, I was just going to say, when you go in for any type of imaging, they always ask you if you have implants, because your appointment will take longer. So your mammogram is going to take longer, your MRI is going to take longer, your ultrasound will take longer. So they do take extra care when you have implants for all the breast imaging across the board.
100%. And for me, I have very little breast tissue left, so they don't do mammograms anymore because I have my implants. And it does vary on a case by case basis, but I used to get the letters from the hospital after I had my implants, like, it's time for your mammogram. I'm like, just put it in your file. Leave me alone. Okay. So I don't know who gets the next question. We're going to say, Alyssa, what is the most common age for women to get breast cancer? A range.
Oh, wow. Like currently? 40 to 50.
Allison, what do you think about that one?
I'd say 55 to 65.
So Allison is more spot on. I think our demographic at Breast Friends is a little bit skewed because we do have more younger women coming in, but we really support all women who have been diagnosed, whether they're from, as early as in their anytime 20s to 80s. We are there for them. But the median age currently for women to experience breast cancer is 63. with right now the most frequently diagnosed between 65 and 74. So it is still a disease that affects older women more predominantly than younger, but the number of younger women is increasing. So right now, currently 5% of women diagnosed are in their 20s and 30s, but that number is definitely rising. Breast cancer is actually the most common type of cancer for women age 15 to 39, which is a really sobering statistic. That there's, to me, that makes me feel like there's something else that we're doing to our bodies, whether it's environment or, what we're putting in our bodies, that is really contributing to younger and early age of diagnosis of breast cancer, which is just awful to me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a hard one.
It is. And at Breast Friends, this past couple of years, we've really had an influx of younger women being diagnosed. And I'm thankful that we have our programs because it has been so long looked at as a disease of older women. And while statistically that still may be true, I feel like the younger women who are diagnosed are even more emotionally affected because they're at different points in their lives.
Yeah. And, sadly, a lot of times they're further, there's what's the word I'm looking
More
for?
aggressive?
No, I mean, yes, but there's later stage. That's what I was looking for, because, they weren't taken seriously by a provider when they went in with a concern, or they themselves didn't think to, go to a doctor about something. So,
right, because they're too young for breast cancer.
Right. And, I had never done a breast self-exam in my life. And I was just very fortunate that I felt that I was able to feel my lump just washing my body. And I was fortunate that I took it seriously and that my doctor took it seriously. So
yeah,
I can see how you just would miss something.
Definitely. But actually, Allison, the numbers show that younger women are being diagnosed later stage and more aggressive for a variety of reasons. So definitely everyone needs to be really proactive in paying attention to their bodies. So next question, Liz, how do you think pregnancies can affect your risk or non-risk of breast cancer?
Well, I'm reading a very interesting book right now, so I don't know how to answer that, because they used to think that the excess estrogen that was produced during pregnancy would make it more dangerous if you were diagnosed during pregnancy. But they're finding that's not always the case now. So I don't know what to say.
That part is definitely correct. So what I found in my research, that women who give birth after age 35 have a higher risk of breast cancer than those who have their first children at younger ages. So that includes myself. So I thought that was really interesting. And one thought I thought was really funny, the more times you give birth, the lower your risk of breast cancer.
Yes, that's true. And when you have your genetic testing and breast cancer risk done by a doctor, that is one thing that they take into account, because my sister, who didn't have kids until her mid 30s, has a much higher risk. Well, not much higher. It's like 4% more, but
still higher.
But she has a higher risk for breast cancer than I do, because she had kids later in life. So
interesting. I didn't know that about the multiple kids.
One of those fabulous websites I mentioned told me about it.
Does it account or talk about breastfeeding at all, or is it just pregnancy?
There was some talk about breastfeeding, but honestly, I can't remember the actual information to actually say it on here, because I don't know.
Okay. I was just curious. Because I'd always heard that breastfeeding is reduces your risk.
I believe that was what it had said it as well, which is interesting for me because I was actually not able to breastfeed. My son had his skull plates were out of alignment. So we just had latching issues. So for me, I had a child after 35 and I was not able to breastfeed. So for me, those things put me immediately at a higher risk.
But then I had children before 35 and breastfed, and I
Right.
survived. So.
Mhm.
And I had my children 36 and 37 and breastfed. So yeah.
I mean, sometimes we're just the lucky winners, I guess. I don't know.
Mhm.
But
And
I'm, thankful for an organization like Breast Friends that, can support women who are diagnosed with breast cancer. That's so important to be able to help them on their journey, answer questions, and let them know that they aren't alone.
100%. So, Allison, is breast cancer the number one killer of women?
No.
You are correct. Not to like get to the end of the show on a down note, but I think it's important to share that fact because it is very scary. And especially for us, we're surrounded by it all of the time, but it is not. Actually, heart disease is the most common thing that women do end up passing of, which there are studies which show that the different things that we do to stop the cancer and get the cancer out of our body, unfortunately, can lead to heart issues.
Well, also just going through menopause and not having estrogen in your body, whether it's natural or, induced by cancer treatment, causes, or can cause heart disease.
Yes. And the lack of estrogen in our bodies because of menopause or chemically induced via surgery or the medication for those who are estrogen positive, it is no joke. I'm here to talk about that all day long. So unfortunately, that's a whole nother episode. So really quick, in 10 seconds, Allison, what is your favorite part about Breast Friends?
My favorite part about Breast Friends is seeing women who have participated in our programs and want to volunteer and give back.
Perfect. Alyssa, what about you?
Just the sisterhood and community. And, it's so empowering to walk into a room full of women who get it and know what you've been through.
100%. And Liz, you're coming at it from a different perspective. So what do you love about Breast Friends?
I love going into the office when we're all there and working together. I know that's not the answer you're looking for, but really that's like the best part for me.
No, it is.
Yeah.
It's being back together, especially after these last 2 years, has been really wonderful. So I just want to say thank you all for being here today because I knew that we could come and have a good time and really share some helpful information. So thank you all for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Yes.
Thanks, Michelle.
Yes.
We'll have to do a part 2.
Definitely. So listeners, if you or a loved one need our services, please go to our website, breastfriends.org, and check out patient programs to see what we can do for you. You can also make a donation in the upper right corner. There's a donate button to ensure that we are able to continue in this fabulous and really important work that we do. And you can also text BF Radio to 41444. You can find our show on the Voice America Health and Wellness channel or wherever you can find your podcasts. And now all of the 2022 episodes are on the Breast Friends YouTube channel. So please find it, search it, and subscribe. If you would like to nominate yourself to be my guest, not your guest, my guest, please email me at michellebeck@breastfriends.org. We'll be back next week. And until then, remember, we rise by lifting each other.